Hey everyone, it's Jay, aka Birdie. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for being here. Today I am bringing you a new speed build for my museum / cemetery area, cemetaria, or my musemetry. I don't know why I like to mash words, but I do. So these are some of the items that are going to be going into the build. There's way more here than I will end up using. I changed my mind about 100,000 times before I finish up. But yeah, if you saw my last couple of videos with island tours, you know that I had been looking for some inspiration for cemeteries, and I did some other, Google image searching, of course, to get some inspiration. But here we are. I have placed the museum at the back of the island, very close to Birdie's yard, which I do have another speed build for. And yeah, I'm going to get into building up some cliffs next to the cemetery or next to the museum on either side. And if you have some reason never learned how to put a tree on a cliff, this little video will show you how. I only recently learned how to do it myself. It's a very interesting little glitch. Don't follow this side immediately. Now you can follow it from there. I did make a little bit of a mistake, but yeah, this is essentially a very speedy tutorial on cliff trees if you needed it. It's such a funny glitch, but I really like the tree being so close to the edge there. So I'm super glad that I found other videos helping me figure this out. And hopefully this helped you if you weren't aware of this glitch yet. So yeah, at first I wasn't sure if I was going to combine the museum with the cemetery, but as I have explored other islands and watched more island tours, I have realized that I'm not the best when it comes to space and like spatial awareness, and I maybe need to condense some builds so that I have enough space for, villager homes and their yards and all the things that actually have to be on an island. Well, not have to be, but you know what I mean? Like all the buildings that are technically going to be there and aren't these additional builds. So I decided to put them together, and I had seen a lot of people doing some really interesting things, making the museum into more of a mausoleum type space by kind of covering up the facade, which is what I'm sort of deciding here, like how I want to cover up these walls. And honestly, when we reached the finished product, I was like, I think I have to do this with all the buildings now. Like, I think I need to redo my nooks and my ables and put some sort of different facade out front because it looks so much better. Look how much better that looks. Like, the museum isn't I was never one of those people that was like, oh, the museum is like so gross. I hate that red color. But I don't know. I think it just like really ups the aesthetic value of the museum. So I don't know. I might mess around and redo all my other builds, but we'll see. So this is me trying to make some cutout standees work. I had gotten these custom designs with like a wrought iron fencing, and I really like that one, especially with the roses, but I don't know. I wasn't getting the vibe for it here. Maybe I should have left it in and built up around it and like see how it fit in. At that moment, I was like, it's standing out too much. Like it doesn't sort of gel with the medieval side. So yeah. And then trying to figure out fencing. I mean, this is a lot of my process, is just like putting stuff down, seeing how I like it, seeing how it looks with the other stuff that I've already decided I want for sure to be there. And it's just kind of a lot of trial and error. But yeah, that's just what you're going to see a lot of as we move through this speed build, is me kind of, trying out one thing, trying out another thing, seeing how it fits, seeing how I like it. And I'll leave you guys to check it out for a little bit. Enjoy. So now I had to extend that pathway from the secret beach. That was always kind of my intention, was that behind Birdie's house, I wanted there to be this sort of like secret path that could take you right to the cemetery, because I myself am kind of a big fan of cemeteries and graveyards. I don't know if big fan is the right way to put it, but like I really enjoy going for walks there. I find it to be a very peaceful place, and I guess I like the aesthetic. I don't know really how to put that, but I find it to be a place where I can like clear my head and get some perspective. So I thought for Birdie, it would be like a dream would be that I would have this like secret pathway from my own home to a cemetery. I thought that would be so cool. So that was my original idea there. But I think the path was what I struggled with the most, honestly, in this build, because I just couldn't figure out like, well, I wanted there to be a pathway, but I also wanted it to feel a little bit natural. Like I'm going to erase all of this eventually, because it just felt like, why would there be such a distinct like wood plank pathway to every gravestone? I don't know. It just didn't really fit right. But yeah, I wanted the pathway from the secret beach for sure. But then in here, I was like, oh, what do I do with this? So it was a bit more trial and error, of course. I really wanted to make these flowers work. They felt like I feel like they would fit better if I did like an interior build that was more like a mausoleum or a funeral home. Like they had, I don't know, when I put them in the cemetery, they didn't feel natural enough. Like I didn't feel like that was something that I would actually see outside. I mean, I know people leave flowers on graves and they do set up little monuments to people, but it just felt really, I don't know, it felt really sterile, I guess. It just didn't feel, natural enough. But I love the color of them, those yellow ones, and I also picked up red ones. I thought those were such nice, bold colors, but they were just not working. Oh my gosh, this painting was another thing I really wanted to make work. If you watched one of my recent island tour videos, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember which island it was on, but that mysterious painting was like part of the horror decor, and I just thought it was so like, I don't even know the word for it. It was haunting on that island given the surrounding like decor and stuff, but I was like, oh, this could work as just like sort of a demure and like, I don't really know the right word. Like haunting isn't the right word, but I guess, yeah, it's cemetery haunting. I don't know. I just thought it would fit the aesthetic. And I tried to make this painting work in so many different spots. But as you'll see, it eventually does hit the road because I just felt like it just wasn't fitting in, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to find another spot for it because I really do like that painting. Oh my gosh. And this is me about to be on the struggle bus with this iron fencing because I just could not figure out how I wanted it. All these times you see me running back and forth is like, for some reason with this build, I was even more obsessed with symmetry than I usually am. I mean, you'll see in other builds that it doesn't always have to be absolutely identical on either side. But for some reason with this build, I just wanted it to have that element. And so there was just this constant like back and forth to see how many spaces I had put one thing on one side. And yeah. I don't know. When you guys are doing your builds, is symmetry a big part of it for you? Is it in some builds and not in others? Sometimes I feel like the symmetry works, and other times I feel like it just sort of looks unnatural. And I was really aware of that with this build of like I didn't want it to be like cutesy symmetrical, but like I wanted it to, there's one thing I do towards the end that I feel like makes it not perfectly symmetrical, and that was enough for me to be like, okay, it's natural. I'll let you guys know what it is when we get there. Okay, I'm realizing now that I did the path a little off center, so that was also something that made me feel like, okay, it's not totally symmetrical. I forgot I did that part though. I am so terrible at laying paths. You'd think by now I would have gotten a little bit of a hang of it. I mean, I guess I have a little bit of a hang of it, but like, I still struggle with it so much. I think it's so funny. Okay, so you see that the laying of the two red leaf piles on the same side was like, you've gone too far, Jay. You can't possibly. But then immediately following that, I put the flowers in the exact same spot on either side. Everything else is in the same spot on either side. But the red leaf piles, that was a step too far. Here it is, the museum / mausoleum / cemetery area, cemeteria. You'll see that the leaves, they're different on either side, and such makes it natural. I don't know, but that was the thing for me that was like, okay, this feels, sort of asymmetrical enough now. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out, which is awesome because after the last build, I was a little bit like down on myself, and this one has me back feeling inspired. And then I had to just do a little bit of time traveling so that I could show the space with the bushes fully grown in, but I also wanted to come back in the evening so that we could see the candles and the torches and everything fully lit up, and the moon is looking beautiful, and yeah. So let me know in the comments, would you do a build like this on your island? Do you have a build like this on your island? I would love to see it if you do. And thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll catch you at the next video.